he calls So What.
Listen to the sounds of Miles Davis. It's called So What. So what, the guru's always right. So what, everything is everything. I love Miles Davis. And with that, I'd like to welcome you guys into episode 155 of the Black Goat Studios, and this is the Guru Talkin Sports Podcast, episode 155. You're welcome. I'm welcoming you guys into the Black Goat Studios, and the Black Goat Studios and Black Goat Sports presents episode 155 of the Guru Talkin Sports Podcast. I am your host, the Guru of Sports. And I feel a little bit better today. Even though that last week was rough, trying to deal with that little bit of a sinus infection and everything, but I've trying to been down before like that, and then come back and rebound and everything. It's just so weird because you get sick, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh man. You got to pick yourself up off the canvas and do this and do that and work and try to get it together. But you know what? I'm back. I feel a little bit better. I'm trying to stay in the fight, doing all this other stuff here. And it's weird because it's like it's not COVID or anything like that. Like I said, it's just I just get to the point where I work so much and I'm down. I get like really, really exhausted, tired, everything. I wanted to mention that, the guru, like I tell you guys all the time, the guru is always right. Some of these things you just can't make up. Some of these things, like I said, I have to have proof for. Like I told you guys about, Super Bowl, other different things, World Series wins and, whatever. The guru's always right. Now, I did want to mention that before I get into the guru's always right, is that this is Black History Month, and this is actually the last Sunday and the last Sunday of the month. And I didn't even get a chance to mention anything for Black History Month. But I am going to mention it today. Today I have to, it's 28 days. It's short month. And, I wanted to make sure that I do recognize some people. I recognize Miles Davis because he was, to me, the greatest jazz player of all time. Even if he wasn't black or whatever, he still would have been the greatest jazz player of all time. Some of the stuff that he's made, I still listen to today. And like I said, his music is timeless. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I like all jazz. All jazz. You can give me some Stan Getz. You can give me some Billie Holiday. You can give me some Charles Mingus. You can give me some Charlie Parker, Kenny Jarrett, I mean, like I said, I know my jazz. I love my jazz. And, Miles Davis just happens to be the top one, And like I said, to take nothing away from, Benny Goodman and any other jazz artist, Miles Davis is the greatest jazz artist of all time. I mean, he's basically the man, the number one man. And like I said, I love jazz, period. Alright, I do want to mention some other jazz or other people that, made a difference. And like I said, this month, and we recognize a lot of people, Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell, Willie O'Ree. Now, if you don't know the story about Willie O'Ree, I did mention him last year in Black History Month. He was the first African American to play hockey, and I tell you, he was something else. He was still alive, and I was watching this documentary on Jackie Robinson yesterday, and Willie O'Ree was talking about how Jackie Robinson met him in 1949 or so, and years later, he said to him, "Hey, you're Willie O'Ree, the hockey player." And Willie said that Jackie Robinson remembering him was probably one of the biggest things in his life. Great documentary called Jackie to Me. And I watched that the other day. I watch a lot of stuff. I watch a lot of television. And like I said, I have a lot of, time that I do watch television. I try to keep up on my information, because information is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Power is something that we try to strive for, but then again, it's like I try to keep information. To me is power, and power means me spreading the information out there to you, which is a good thing, because that's what I like to do. Now, coming up on this podcast is going to be kind of different. I'm going to try to get out of here in an hour. I know I keep saying that. I'm going to try to get out of here on a certain period of time, but, it takes a lot. It takes a lot for me to get through. So, like this one here, okay. What I'm going to do is, the Guru's Always Right in a few seconds. Then I'm going to go to the college rap. We're going to talk about the college basketball season and how it's getting to the point where it's the nitty-gritty. Let's say, like, the nitty-gritty. And, getting down to it. Spring training is back. And there's Manny Machado, I think, is the first guy to violate the pitch clock thing, and I did see some of the. I did watch a little bit of baseball yesterday. It was only a couple of innings, but it's pretty funny. The pitch clock thing is funny. All right, the NBA is back. Did you see Did you see that 176-175 shootout between Sacramento and the Clippers? That was amazing the other night. I actually went back and had to watch the slam dunk contest. And Mac McClung is amazing. The guy is amazing. Police blotter, the situation with Alabama. I'm going to try to talk about it, but it's very, very disturbing. And we'll get to it. Poo Poo of the week is someone from that police blotter. I'll let you guys know. Second half, I'm going to try to keep it a little light. I've only got a couple things. Celebrity encounters. I was listening to a show the other day, and they were talking about celebrity encounters. I have a lot of them. And believe it or not, because I lived in Los Angeles, I got so many. I mean, not to brag, but I do have a lot. I'm gonna tell you guys about about a couple, and especially Eazy-E, Tim Conway, Richard Pryor, Charles Barkley, Don Newcomb, Frank Robinson, and Ron Glass. If you don't know who Ron Glass is, I want you to Google him. He was on a television show, a very famous television show, and I want you guys to Google him. His name is Ron Glass. I was going to do the 50, the rappers that got snubbed on that 50 greatest list. I still think it's bogus and BS because, there's some guys on there. And like I said, I understand. And me and Kaden Guru had this discussion a lot because, he's the younger version of the Guru, and he listens to a lot of the newer, younger, his crowd thing. But like I said, you can't dismiss the fact that there were greats that are out there that was not on this list, and I'm definitely going to have to say something about it. I'm going to wrap it up with TV and shout-outs. I know this is the last Sunday of the month, and like I said, Black Ghost Sports wants me to talk about wrap it up every month with the shout-outs. So, like I said, it's so many now, it's so many people that do listen to this podcast, and we appreciate that. We appreciate you listening. There's so many. We definitely have to do this at once a month, and we don't want to forget our people out there, and we thank you guys. I'm sitting up here now wearing a the Guru is always right hoodie, and like I said, if you guys want one, send me information. I'll get you one. There's free ones are basically gone, and I'm selling them for $20. If you want one, just let me know, and maybe like I said, we'll see what we can do for you. But we appreciate you, and like I said, all the free ones that I had, they were promotional things. We just gave them away, and it didn't cost you anything. But now, Black Ghost Sports says, hey, look, now we didn't give away a lot, so we're going to have to do something else here. So, I don't want to get in trouble. I want to make sure that everybody out there has one. And there's two different kinds. There's one that says, the Guru is always right, which says it all, because the Guru is always right. I'll tell you guys about that. And then there's one that says Guru Talkin Sports Podcast. It just says Guru Talkin Sports, which is, the name of this thing that I'm doing here. Alright, what I'm going to do right quick is I'm going to go to the Guru is always right. And, it's hard to be right all the time. It is very hard to be right all the time. But, I try not to brag upon it. But then again, it's like, sometimes somebody has to tell you so. And that's what the Guru does. It's like sometimes I might have to say, hey, I told you so about that. But no, sometimes you just don't want to listen. But then again, like I explained to you always, the Guru is always right. He's always right about something, So I'll tell you what, I'm going to try to, find this little piece here for, make sure that, and like I said, if you listen in the background, do a lot of clicking, because that's the Guru is on his computer trying to click and trying to pick up these things and pull these things out that, while I'm sitting here talking on the air, because don't have Kaden Guru is not here. I talked to him yesterday. He was doing okay. He was just, doing his little thing. But, King Guru, we love him, and we, always think that he's, vital part of this. Voice actress lady is here. She has something to say right quick. Let's hear what she has to say.
And now, another reason why the Guru is always right.
That's right. Thank you, voice actress lady. I should about ready to say it again. But anyway, I appreciate that, voice actress lady, because the Guru's always right. Here it is. Here's from last week. A little something.
I guess I'm going to have a last word on this one.
All right. Well, I think it's it right here.
I don't know. Martin Truex looked good. Bubba Wallace looks good. Denny Hamlin looks good.
But let's go back to the beginning.
Okay, Chase Elliott is in a 9 Chevrolet car. And I'm also going to go with, let's see, we got Chase Elliott.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to find this little piece here. But what I did was, here's proof that the Guru is always right.
In their inaugural season, when they went to the Stanley Cup, they should have won that. But I'm just glad to see new teams in. I might try to go out and get one of those new jerseys or whatever for the Kraken.
That's why I was talking hockey.
I haven't even got a Vegas Golden Knights one yet.
Stick with me. It'll be right
I got
up.
my Jersey one. I got my New Jersey Devils one.
That's right.
And I got my LA Kings one. I got to get... I had my Toronto Maple Leafs, but I think I gave that one to Dante Guru.
I was talking hockey.
But anyway, I wanted to mention some hockey.
Yeah.
The other little thing is...
There it is.
Daytona 500 is coming up today. And let's see. Let me see.
I was right about this.
I'm looking at the car roster here. I'm going to pick 3 guys that I got a feeling that's going to win this thing.
My top 3 guys.
The first one I'm going to go to Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott has always been one of my favorites.
He didn't win.
I'm going to go with him. Kevin Harvick.
He didn't win either.
He's in the Ford 4 car. I like him as well.
He didn't win.
Okay, Chase Elliott is in a 9 Chevrolet car.
I like that.
And I'm also going to go with, let's see, we got Chase Elliott.
Had to think on this one.
Kevin Harvick.
He didn't win.
In a 4 car.
He didn't win.
Let's see, who else?
Come on.
On top 3, I'm going to go with...
Hurry up, Guru.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Bingo.
In the Chevrolet 47 car.
Bingo. That's who the Guru picked, and he was right. Like I said, his 3 guys was Martin Truex, Ricky Stenhouse, and Kevin Harvick. And like I said, the Guru is always right. Even in that clip, I told you guys, one of the 3 guys that I picked was going to win. And sure enough, Ricky Stenhouse won. I know. You guys have to stick with me because, editing and trying to find things and, working by myself right now. Please give me a break. I'm just teasing.
One of those guys, but then again.
All right. Anyway, I thank you guys for listening. I'm going to take a short break while I try to sit back and not laugh my butt off. Anyway, there's no rapping today. I'm sorry, there's no rapping today. I was going to do a rap, but I don't want. I just don't want to mess it up. Only because another thing too is that we have to, I have to do some Black History Month, and I did want to play some Miles Davis at the beginning of this. I wanted to definitely give some Miles Davis out there. So, anyway. All right, I tell you what, let's take a little quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk about little things. Then we get into some news and notes. You guys are listening to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. This is episode 155. I still feel like I'm okay. But anyway, like I said, we'll be right back right after this. Here's my voice actress lady. Thank you for picking me up a little bit earlier. Voice actress lady, go to it.
You're listening to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast.
Welcome back to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. This is episode 155. I'll tell you, when I take breaks and I have to go out and do things, I don't know. I'm in the back room in my office or studio, whichever you prefer. I'm sitting in here doing the podcast, and I hear this, and guess who it is? It's Ellie. Ellie's a little girl dog. She's a Yorkshire. She's 2 years old, and she's the funniest thing. I always tease her. I call her Granny because she looks like a little grandma running around here. And like the clothes that Miss Guru puts on them, she dresses them up like little children, which is another sight in itself. And this is, like I said, it's just like an animal house. It's like a funny farm in here. Miss Guru, how's she doing, whatever she's doing. And then she's like telling me, what are you procrastinating for? Did you do the podcast? I'm like, they're doing it now. I guess I had to come out and get some coffee. I had break time. I have breaks during this podcast. But I tell you, Alexander, we took him out. Here's a little story. We took him out yesterday because, she's been bugging me about going to this butcher. Oh, we have to go to this butcher. I said, all right, I'll tell you what. I didn't do it last weekend because I was sick. So I told her, I said, hey, how about if we go out next Sunday? Then she finds out the butcher's closed. So we went to this Saturday, and I took him out after I got back from, a run that I had to make. And then next thing you know, we go out there, and she's all nervous. Oh, make sure that you walk with them, because we don't know this day. I'm like, look, go in there and do what you got to do with the butcher. I'll stay out here with them. I walk them, we walk around. We had a good time. Me and the kitties, we walked around the neighborhood in Newark. Oh, man, Stella Stevens passed away. I didn't know that. Anyway. And then, I try to explain to her that, don't worry about this stuff. Don't worry. I got them. They with me. And they were all right. And then next thing you know, we were, sitting in the car waiting for her. And then we would, and Alex is running around like a maniac. He has separation anxiety. And the thing about Alex is that, he doesn't like when people leave. So let's say, like, if you come over, people come over, and they sit down, and they talk or whatever, they're okay. When they get ready to get up and leave, he goes like a maniac. So, anyway, I try to explain to Alex that, separation anxiety is not good, so I don't know how I can, basically break it down to him, but, he's trying. He's been through a lot of trauma, with us losing a dog now about 3 years ago. It's been really hard on him, and he doesn't like any delivery person. But it's funny because like the delivery people that come here, I get a lot of boxes. Miss Guru get a lot of boxes or whatever. They always talk about how we'll leave it somewhere, or they'll hand it to me, or they'll see him and say, "Hey, Alex, how you doing?" And he just freaks out. It's like, why is this guy talking to me? Oh my gosh! All right. Let's get back to some sports. Talking sports. College rap. Okay. I did mention Stella Stevens passed away. She was 84 years old. Richard Belzer did pass away. And if you don't remember him, he was on Law and Order. He was a comic and really, really good guy. I mean, it's like I watch Law and Order. I've been watching Law and Order for years and years. And, you know, some of the great guys that were on there, Jerry Orbach, Richard Belzer, all those guys, you know, rest in peace to Richard Belzer and Stella Stevens. Anyway, all right, let's get back. I didn't see train of thought here. I try to keep my, you know, train of thought in the right way, but, you know, sometimes it's just like, seems like mine goes off and then wanders off in a different direction, and then I forget what I'm supposed to say. And this guy, there's another guy up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, that sent me a email and said, "Dude, you're funny, but you're forgetful." And I said, "Hey, guess what? That's a part of the persona here. You know, this is part of what Guru is. Guru is forgetful, but the thing is that he tries to steer his mind back to the right. You know, it's like a roundabout. You go round this way, off this beaten path here, and then you come back to the main point. You know, I forget his name, Jerry or something like that. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Thank you for the email. I appreciate it. And you also said I stink, but I appreciate that too. Thank you, Jerry. You know, I'm glad you're listening. That's the thing. You're listening though, ain't you? All right. So 12 Gonzaga beat 15 St. Mary's last night. And I'm not going to run down any scores or mention anything. Houston had no problem with East Carolina last night. Indiana beat Purdue. Purdue is falling now. Indiana was 17th and Purdue is 5. Purdue is falling down a lot. Marquette had no problem with DePaul. Tennessee routed South Carolina. Now, I'm going to give you this score, 85-45, 40-point win. You know, we mentioned some of these teams in the big conferences or whatever. It looked like North Carolina was in the, final game last year, and then Final Four. And then next thing you know, it's like they fell off the cliff this year. But they got a big win. They beat number 6 Virginia 71-63. Kansas barely won at West Virginia. Kansas is number 3. They barely won. I saw this. This shot was like amazing. Florida State guy threw the same from 3/4, half court, and beat Miami 85-84. The same happened in Arizona. Arizona State upset Arizona last night. Texas A&M lost to Mississippi State, and Texas A&M is 25th in the country. Kansas State had no problem with Oklahoma. Alabama beat Arkansas 86-83. I got some stuff on Alabama that we got to talk about. Baylor had no problem with Texas 81-72. Like I said, I mentioned that Arizona State half-court shot. And Villanova is starting to come back, too. Villanova is looking scary in the Big East. They beat Creighton last night in Philadelphia. They beat them at the Wells Fargo Center. Iowa State lost to Oklahoma. And that was a shocker. Iowa State is 23rd in the country. UConn has no problem with St. John's, and I think they played that one in New York. Texas Tech fell to TCU, and that was 83-82. All right. Also, like I was mentioning, that some of these teams, North Carolina is starting to pick up their game. Villanova is starting to pick up their game. They won. They beat Xavier, and they beat. They just won this game yesterday over Creighton. Two ranked teams. Xavier's number 16 in the country, and Creighton is number 19. That conference is Big East Conference is pretty good. And also another conference that I want to mention is pretty good is that Atlantic A10. A10 is pretty good. Now they got a lot of ranked teams in there. Good teams. Like I said, they got some good teams. But when it comes down to it, you got, who is that? A10. You got a couple good teams in the A10, and you never know. But the Big East is starting to pick up now. And like I said, you never know. You never know where this champion, and Guru's not going to make a prediction on where the champion of the big who's going to win this whole thing. But I can tell you one thing: there might be a Big East team in the Final Four, and like I said, they got a lot of good teams in there. Providence, Marquette, Xavier. They got a lot of good teams. So I definitely like to see, one of these Big East teams get in there. You never know. Villanova might sneak in there. So, it's like I said, college basketball is getting to the nitty-gritty right now. And, my boys Maryland play today. They play Northwestern again. They should be able to beat them. They're at home. Georgetown has no chance in hell of beating Providence. And like I mentioned before, that I really think that this is probably the coaching finale for Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing, I think, is not going to be back next year as Georgetown coach. And like I said, you mentioned Georgetown, you got to mention this kid Matt McClung. He played for Georgetown, and he also played for Texas Tech. Two of my favorite schools that I like. I like Xavier. I like Maryland. In college, you can have a wide variety. There's so many teams. You get favorite teams that you might like or whatever. But anyway, let's go back to the point. We're going around the roundabout. All right, Matt McClung. I watched him on the slam dunk contest, and then I had to replay it because I couldn't believe what I saw. So. The guy is amazing, and you know what? He plays for the Delaware Bluecoats of the CBA or the G League, or I'm sorry, CBA, the G League. And you know what? If he comes back down here, I'm definitely have to get tickets to go see this kid because I think he's pretty good. And you know what? Matt McClung had the whole crowd stunned about what he did. Some of those dunks were just amazing, and he all got them on the first try. Like I said, he's good. He's really good. So, you know what? I'm glad that he's got some shine, and he was, one of those YouTube dudes. And you ain't got to be like really, really big and famous. And we know that the guys like LeBron and, Ja Morant and, some of the great slam dunkers in the, is not going to go into this slam dunk contest. Thank God for Matt McClung. It didn't save the dunk contest. I just think it puts a little different spin on it because now we know that these guys, some of these guys, we don't know, some of these guys are pretty good. It's good to see some new blood in here. So, big props to Mac McClung. I really, really appreciate him. And God bless him because I think that he's, he needs to be showcased. And he needs to be recognized for what he did. You know, all of his scores was 50s. You know. All right. Too much. I'm not going to go too far on that. But like I said, I just wanted to mention Matt McClung. All right, like I said, the NBA is back, and that game the other night was 176 to 175. I couldn't believe it. That's probably one of the highest scoring games I've seen in decades. You know, and other than a All-Star game, you know, All-Star game. That All-Star game was, jeez. I didn't want to mention that. But anyway. All right, that's it on basketball. Spring training baseball is in play. And my man, Manny Machado, was the first one to violate the play clock or the clock for stepping out or whatever he did or whatever. So, you know, I just look at it this way. I watched a couple innings of the Phillies and the Yankees yesterday because I was looking for the Orioles and I couldn't find them. So I just watched, you know, see you know, they got three major rule changes: the pitch clock, the bases are a little bit bigger, and the shift. I'm glad to see baseball without the shift. I can do without the shift. And the thing is that, you know, guys were complaining about, whoa, the shift is on, I can't really hit. I hit into the shift. Hey, dummy, why don't you hit the other way? Hit them where they're not. Hit them where they ain't. That's the old saying. So hit them where they ain't. That's the thing. You know, when I played baseball, I wasn't that good. But I played. I tried out and everything. But the thing is that, you know, when I was growing up, guys were shifted to one side because I was batting left-handed, or if I was batting right-handed, I hit it to the opposite side. The easiest thing. Easiest way to get on base. You want to get on base any kind of way you can. But anyway, I did watch, like I said, I watched that Yankees-Phillies game yesterday. And the pitch clock does help. It seems like it speeds up the game a little bit more. And I think a lot of people will be, they'll be happy to see that you know, they're making progress. You know, baseball doesn't really have to, baseball has to make the changes here to keep the game interesting. And I think what they're doing is a good thing because, you know, all these sports, every sport, except for baseball, has had changes that impact the pace of play and made it a little bit more interesting. We know that baseball doesn't have a play clock, but now with this pitch clock and then with, you know, the batters coming in and getting in the box and getting ready for these pitches, it's going to speed it up a little bit, which is a good thing. And I appreciate that. I really, really do appreciate, you know, some of the changes that they're doing to try to make the game a little bit more interesting. You know? I mean, how many times have we talked about football, changes in football that impact the play and made it a little bit more, you know, interesting? Baseball don't have that. Baseball should have that, which is a good thing now because baseball is going to do something to where it's going to increase the popularity. You know, the bases, they look the same to me. You know, I'm not sure if they made them look like pizza boxes or if they, you know, made them look, I don't know if they was a small pizza at first or now they're like a giant extra large pizza. I don't know. But they look the same to me. Probably because if there's a bang play on first or on second where the guy's sliding in and they have to you know, make the tag or whatever, they can take a look at it and it's probably a little bit more magnified for the umpires to make the decision on if the runner was first or safe or if he was out. I think that's probably one of the reasons why. You know, like I said, Guru's always right. So I'm assuming that, but then again, you don't really want to assume. But I'm assuming that in this fact, that is the right way. That is the right thing. All right. So, like I said, I wanted to mention these news and those things. Also wanted to mention this because this is something I miss. I watched Rihanna's performance. I think, you got to give it up to her. She was pregnant. She was a little pregnant. But, the thing about it is that, there was a lot of kids watching that. And, a little bit, I'll say, iffy there. You can't really do the things that you do in a nightclub on a stage where you got like maybe 1 billion people watching, I give it up to Rihanna. Rihanna's a good performer. But the thing about it is that you might want to tone it down a little bit. I don't know. Like I said, if I was in a disco or a nightclub, if I seen her in concert where it probably ain't too many little kids watching or whatever, yeah, she could probably, get away with something like that. But, like I said, her performance was her performance. And, I asked Kate and Guru, I said, hey, did you see her do some of the things that they say she did? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, how do you feel about it? He was like, ain't no big deal. So, like I said, hey, I'm a father. And I do protect my child from a lot of crazy crap. But he said, hey, that's the way she performs or whatever. But see, that's the thing. We don't have to, we can all agree to disagree about certain things. So, that's all I'm going to say about Rihanna's performance. All right. Now, like I said, I'm going to do what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mention a few people for Black History Month. Frederick Douglass, Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson is interesting. All right, I was supposed to mention this a couple episodes back, but I want to mention this. Carter G. Woodson was the father of Black History Week. Back in February of 1926, he was coined the phrase Negro History Week, which in turn turned into Black History Month. I wanted to say that because Carter G. Woodson is a very, very prominent figure in Black history, only because when I was growing up, I lived in projects, and I lived in Woodson Court, which was actually, we had a lot of different, in this projects, we had Banneker Court, all the projects, buildings were named after famous African Americans. And I was fortunate to live in Woodson Court. There was Banneker Court, and like I said, there was different Douglas Court. And I mean, there was a lot of different prominent African American names that we were associated with. So, all right. So I did want to mention Carter G. Woodson, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela. We gotta mention, a lot of different people that we always have to mention. All right, so I hate to do this, but it's time for the police blotter. Police blotter is a new thing that we try to do here, and this one is very disturbing and a very disrespectful, I think, situation. Now, I heard this a couple days ago, and it was a situation where they have Brandon Miller was is a part of the Alabama basketball team. He brought a gun for one of his ex-teammates. Okay. I know it's very difficult for me. There's a continuing investigation into Miller, who brought now an ex-teammate, Darius Miles, a gun to a nightclub that fatally shot a 23-year-old woman. And I just don't understand how this happened. And Miller was actually allowed to play. It's disrespectful. Miller should have been thrown off the team, pending the investigation. His coach, Nate Oates, said, well, this is, kind of a thing that we have to deal with. And, the NBA coaches are probably not going to be worried about that. Yeah. What? The NBA coaches are not going to be thinking about him in a situation where there was a murder charge? Nate Oates is ridiculous. I mean, he's actually the Poo Poo of the week. So, this whole Alabama program, has to be, it has to be very much said that they don't care about anything. They just care about winning and making sure that their good players are on the court. Remember last year that we had a situation with Pablo Banchero and Mike Krzyzewski's son or grandson riding around drunk in a car. And, Coach K, let's put it this way, Coach K didn't suspend Banchero, but yet and still he suspended his grandson. But the bottom line is that as long as they can get out there and play, that's the main thing. No. There's a young woman, Janae Harris is dead. She's dead. Her family members and stuff like that can't bring this lady back. But yet and still, the bottom line is that he's out there playing, running around, having a good time playing. Alabama has been, me, I'm not a big Alabama fan. I hate to say it, I'm not a big Alabama fan at all. Not because I'm an Ohio State fan and they kicked my boys in the butt in the championship game. I just think that most teams in situations like this will probably sit their player, suspend their player until the investigation is, finished. But Alabama just trotted him out there. And yet still, a couple days ago, he scored 41 points in his career high or whatever right after this. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the sad thing about it is that, I'll mention this again, a young woman is dead. A young woman is dead. And Nate Oates says, well, that's not a big deal. The NBA scouts are not looking. Who the hell cares about the NBA scouts in this situation? If he bought the gun to a former teammate and this guy kills somebody, both of them should be involved. Both of them should be, in jail, to me. Because that's, what is that, aiding and abetting or whatever? So, I don't know. Alright, so I'm gonna finish up with this. I'm just gonna say that the Alabama program has always had a stain on it. And this is a stain that's probably not gonna go away for a while. But we're going to keep an eye on Alabama and their terrible, terrible situations that they have out there. All right, I tell you what, I'm going to go to halftime because Alabama makes me sick, and I get tired of talking about their sick situation with them. I'm going to come back with something light and funny and lighthearted and funny, and definitely I'm gonna get into some celebrity interactions. Sports. This is sports. This is everything. So all right. So you guys hang with me. We'll be right back. This is a Guru Talking Sports podcast, episode 155. Here's my voice actress lady. We'll be right back right after this. Be right back. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Guru Talking Sports podcast.
Alright, welcome back to the Guru Talking Sports podcast. This is episode 155. And, like I said, this is kind of a good part of the sports calendar year. Because, like I said, we got a lot of stuff that is out there. And, now we got... Oh, excuse me. I'm putting my feet up here on the desk, and I'm just kind of relaxing, sitting back here. I'm going to sit back here and talk to you guys for a little bit. So, I wanted to let you guys know that like I said, I run into a lot of celebrities. I've ran into a lot of celebrities. I am, like I said, when I lived in California, I ran, I was always, it seemed like, you're bumping into celebrities all the time, And the thing is that, when I was out, I lived out here too in Philadelphia area, you run into a few celebrities, ran into Patti LaBelle once. I met her, said hi. She said hi. She was really nice. Let's see. I want to mention these couple people. Ryan Glass. Ryan Glass was I think the first celebrity I met when I was out in California. If you don't remember who Ron Glass is, Ron Glass played in the television show Barney Miller, and with Hal Linden and Max Gale, and I think his name was I forget a couple other guys that were in there, and that was a pretty good show. Barney Miller was a really, really classic television show. So I remember meeting Ron Glass, and he was at a gas station, and he was putting gas in his Mercedes-Benz, and he was complaining about, he's like, wow, these gas prices is something else, and we were sitting there having a conversation, and like I said, I thought he was a really nice guy, really, really respectful. All right, I gotta mention Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley is probably one of the nicest people I ever met, and I was when I was working for a beverage company. I'm not going to mention any names, But anyway, I was delivered to a store, and I had a hand cart and had some product that I was bringing into the store, and Charles Barkley said, "Hey, let me hold the door for you." And I said, "Hey, Charles, thank you." I said, "I never had a Hall of Fame player, sports figure, hold the door for me." He said, "It's not a problem, man. My man, I see you, you're working, you're doing your thing. I appreciate it." Charles Barkley is a nice guy. And I met Charles Barkley a couple other times, too. And he was really, very, very, very nice. We always had great encounters, and I always, I respect him. And the thing is that, I joked with him one time about, I said, "Charles, why do you think people want to try to challenge you?" And he just told me plain simple, people are stupid. And I agree with him. I mean, why would you want to challenge a 6'6" guy that's like maybe almost 300 pounds, chiseled, former basketball player, and you want to, disrespect people, disrespect him? I wouldn't. I mean, like I said, Charles was a nice guy. I really, really enjoyed Charles, talking to Charles Barkley. Let me give you one from the comedy world. I did meet Richard Pryor before, but I'm not going to mention this one. This one is Tim Conway. Tim Conway was on the Carol Burnett show years and years and years ago. And Tim Conway, I met him at Hollywood Park when I was, now I'm a big horse racing guy. I do like horse racing. I went to Hollywood Park one day and decided that I was going to go and play a couple, play a little bit, get my gamble on, horse racing and everything. And, and next thing you know, I turned around, I bumped into this guy, and it was Tim Conway. And I said, "Hey, how you doing, Mr. Conway?" He's like, "Hey, how are you?" He said, and we sat there and talked for a little bit. He said, "Hey, you got any good plays on any horses?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" I gave him a couple horses that I liked. He gave me a couple horses he liked. I think that one day I won about like maybe $900, and I think I put it on a really, really big long shot. And he said, "Are you sure you want to play this horse?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to play him." So I said, "Here, you take give him the information on the horse." He played it too. Next thing you know, we both won. I won 900. I don't know how much he won. But he came up to me, shook my hand, and said, "Hey, man, you're pretty good." I'm like, "No, I'm just a rookie at this stuff, man. It's like I don't know that horse racing that much. I just gamble a little bit for the hell of it." But anyway, Tim Conway was a really, really nice guy also, and really, really fun, funny guy, and he made all these videos where he was like, I guess he was like a short person, and he was actually on his knees, and you gotta watch the videos of it. But anyway, Tim Conway was a really, really nice guy, and I really had a nice encounter with him as well. Dr. Dre, I met a couple of times. Matter of fact, me, Dante Guru, and Ray Guru, and my other brother Derek, we all met Dr. Dre at one time when we was out in California. And Dr. Dre was a really, really nice guy. And like I said, the group NWA, I met Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, MC Ren, Yella. Only one I didn't really meet out of that group was Ice Cube. And I knew a guy that was he was a drummer for The Time. And he basically, me and him worked together. Me and this guy from the Time, the musical group called The Time. Morris Day in the time, if you remember who I am. Remember that. So I knew him. I knew the guy, the drummer for the time. He lived next door to Ice Cube's mom. So I used to go over his house all the time, and we kick it up and talk crap and play music and whatever. And then I never met Ice Cube. Now Ice Cube never showed up. And a couple of times I went over my man's house. Eazy-E was a good friend of this girl's brother. This girl I was dating out in California. Her brother was a really, really big, good friend of Eazy-E. And because they ran together, and they've been knowing him for the longest time. And see, that's the thing. When I lived in LA and in that area, Compton or whatever, there was a lot of people that were connected to people that knew some of these guys, like Eazy-E and MC Ren and all these other guys in NWA and these other groups. Now, like I said, I met Eazy-E and we sat, and me and this other girl, this other guy, we were walking down what was this? We was walking down the Lakewood Mall in California, and it took us, it's like if you're walking in a mall, you can walk walk a mall in about like maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It took us almost an hour to get from one end of the mall to the other end of the mall because there were people just running up to us and talking and, conversating and, shaking hands and wanted autographs and girls were, it was a mess. And I asked him, I said, Easy, you ever get tired of this? He said, sometimes, but to tell you the truth, it's like, the celebrity part about this is not bad. And then people wanted to hand them tapes and check this out. I want to rap. I want to do this. And it was a mess. But the thing about it is that, I understand. And see, that's the price you have to pay for fame. So, with Eazy, I understood that because, like I said, he was a prominent figure, and God rest his soul. I really, really liked Eazy. He was a really nice guy. Really, really, really cool guy. Like I said, MC Ren used to come into the store that I used to work at out in Los Angeles. It's called the Warehouse Record Store. And he would always come in, and I was always, I would give him, some insights on how his record was selling, definitely, some insights and stuff like that. I worked for a record company, actually a store that dealt directly with record companies, and just dealing with stuff like that, in the music business. And there's a lot of things where I met a lot of people in the music industry where they basically would come to me while I was working at this record store, and sometimes I would have to report stuff to the radios or to the to the industry or whatever, and then there were people that would come in and influence me and give me product, and I ain't gonna say I did get a couple dollars slid under the table to report stuff. So that's the business or whatever. I ain't gonna get too much into it, and rat people out or whatever. I'll never rat people out. But anyway, that's just a couple people. Now I did meet Suge Knight before, and he didn't kick my butt, but the thing about it is that, he was okay. Suge Knight was okay with me at that time. Like I said, there was a lot of people that I ran across. And the ones that I didn't even mention was, like I said, I didn't mention Richard Pryor. I didn't mention Michelle A., which was Dr. Dre's girlfriend at the time. Don Newcomb I met. Frank Robinson I met before, had a chance to meet. Johnny Unitas, Brooks Robinson. Who else? Paul Westphal I did meet as a, he was a basketball player. A lot of different, Hakeem Olajuwon I met before, Mark Aguirre, Chris Mullen, you name it. There was a lot of different basketball players, baseball players, football players, hockey players. I met Rob Brindamar. I think it was Rob Brindamar once, Phil Esposito. There's a lot. There was a lot of people that I did meet before. And, like I said, not bragging about it, but the thing about it is that, this all stems back to a situation where a guy, I was listening to radio and he had mentioned an encounter he had with a celebrity, and he kind of got like, oh my gosh, glad to see him or whatever. So I just wanted to mention that, okay? So other than that, I'm going to wrap this and I'm going to make it a little bit quick because I still have, I still wanted to mention the Billboard 50 or whatever greatest rappers, which is a bunch of hogwash. 3 of them that I wanted to mention, 4 actually was King T, which is really good rapper out of LA. Schoolie D from Philadelphia was probably one of the best I've ever heard coming out of Philadelphia. I mean, there's a lot of them. Lord Finesse out of New York is probably still one of my favorite rappers. MC8. Now, I met him a couple times. He was out from LA. Really good guy. Really good guy. Good brother and, really good rapper. He was in the crew called Compton's Most Wanted. And that was one of the groups that, like I said, if, one of the, he's actually a movie star too. I've seen him in a couple different movies. Boys in the Hood, I think, and a couple, he played with, a couple different movies I've seen him in. Anyway, who else? A rapper that, Big Chops from the CPO, which is one of the underground rap groups from Los Angeles. Like I said, there's just so many that I think that got snubbed in this, and they basically are good rappers and good people that you would say, wow, why they didn't put him on the list? Why they didn't put him on the list? There's always going to be snubs in everything. Just like, look at what we do every season with the NBA or NFL or Major League Baseball when they pick their All-Star game or All-Star teams. You always get a snub. Somewhere, somebody's going to get snubbed. So these are some of the guys I know that got snubbed. So, but anyway, I'm going to finish up with, television. My boys' show Snowfall has come back. If you ever watch Snowfall, it's probably one of the greatest shows of all time. Only because it basically breaks down what happened back in back in the 80s or whatever with, the Iran-Contra. It goes from the Iran-Contra to, drug sales in the hood and how crack started. And, I understand that, it's like a different thing of television that you might want to watch. Some Christian people wouldn't want to watch this because it has a lot of, gang violence. It has a lot of, stuff in it. But the thing about it is that it's educational to me. And like I said, knowledge is power. Knowing about this stuff makes me a little bit more aware about what's going on. But then again, I kind of remember some of the stuff that was going on because it was taking place right when I was living out there. So I definitely want to make sure that, I mentioned Snowfall. Snowfall is probably one of the greatest series. And it's produced by John Singleton. John Singleton, rest in peace. I did get a chance to meet him once. Really, really nice guy. Very, very down to earth. Very, very nice man. Rest in peace to him. Alright, so I think I did a lot of talking. I wanted to make sure I got my point across and make sure that I got everything out there. I'll tell you what, we're going to wrap this thing because we definitely got to get out of here. And I want to make sure that I get some of these people up in here. We got to give shout outs. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a short break right back. We'll be right back right after this. I want to make sure I get my shout out list and everything. And, I definitely want to make sure that, the people that are, listening to this, we want to make sure that we recognize them and give them some credit. And like I said, maybe, you never know. Maybe you might have something coming your way. You never know. We'll see what happens anyway. So anyway, you guys, I want you guys to stick with me. We'll be right back. The last segment. I got to get my paperwork, and I don't want to be disrespectful. Just leaving you, and I just definitely want to make sure that I got everything here for you guys. So you guys take it easy. Be right back. And here's voice actress lady. She's coming up right now, and we'll make sure that we'll wrap this thing. So you guys hang tight. Be right back.
You're listening to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast.
Alright, we're back. This is it. Final segment. I want to wrap this thing up by saying thank you for all you do. All the people that listen to us out there. Vernon and Anya Myers, appreciate you. Miss Ann Rowdy, appreciate you. Ashley Holt, Sheila Brooks. My New York guys, Brian, Ted, Jason, appreciate you. Hunter, Dylan, Tony, Betty, Kate, Christian, Justin, all you guys at work, we appreciate you. My people from Twitter, Bella B, Jeff in Southland, Rick in Buffalo, Mel, Mike, Lori, Adriana, Mariana, Rob, Reed, Dan the man, Justin, the coach, Dave Shepard, all you guys and people in my group, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. MP, MP. You always get the shine, my man. We love you, man. We appreciate you. My friends on Facebook, Charlie Rogers, happy birthday, Charlie. Chris, Kate, again, Denise, Miss Denise Hyde, Jeff Brown, Keith Stewart, Big Al, Kareem, Jamie Dorsey, Mike Fox, Cousin Dave, Uncle Gary, Mike, Kevin Ryder, appreciate you guys. We appreciate all you guys that are listening. We appreciate you guys that are checking us out. And you know how this goes. If I didn't mention you, I appreciate you. I want you guys to know that this is a Black Goat production for Black Goat Sports. I ain't even giving a chance to read the particulars. You find us on Facebook at Guru's Daily Shorts. YouTube is the Guru of Sports Show on YouTube. Let's see, what else? Instagram, you know what this is on Instagram. It's going to be a short pause right here for a second. short pause, and I want you guys to know that it's coming right back. Anyway, short pause. All right, Guru's Daily Shorts on Gmail, gurusdailyshorts.com at gmail.com. You know what it is. MACK GTS _ BB39 is the Guru Talkin Sports official Twitter account. Find us on Spreaker, Spotify, Podchasers, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find your podcast, that's where we're at. Big props to Miss Mary Mack, the Mary Mack Show on Grief. Check her at www.marymack.info. Jeff Duarte, appreciate you. Your sweatshirt is coming. I have problems with these sizes things, so I'm definitely getting those out. My man, cousin Curtis, and his grandson Jarrett, I got something for you, little man. I appreciate you. Got something for you too, cousin. My baseball insider, Mr. Dave May Jr. I'm gonna try to get him in here next weekend. If he's not busy, I know, baseball season starting, he might be starting up and my hip-hop advisor and my hip-hop guru, I appreciate him, Mr. Danny Rivera. Mr. Schick, yours is coming too. Sizing, and like I said, we're having problems with sizing. We'll get those done. Katie Guru, our executive producer, board op. Who else? We got Ray Guru, Dante Guru, appreciate you. Cousin Aaron, our angel from above, we rest in peace and we appreciate you. This has been a Black Goat production for Black Goat Sports. Copyright 2022. Got to get out of here. We don't congratulate, we don't hate, we always congratulate, we always create, and we don't steal from nobody. We always give the show and give everybody big props. Use the hashtag big props and Guru Talkin Sports as another hashtag. We love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We're going to, at the end of this song, that'll be it. We'll be back next week with episode 156. I know we're running out of time. I hear the dog barking, and that's it. We will talk to you soon. You guys take care. Later.